Hi dear students, in the last class we had seen that one more character is entering into the scene, that is Antonio. That time when Antonio enters, Shylock thinks about Antonio and why Shylock hates Antonio, because Antonio is a Christian and he brings down the interest rate in Venice, and because of many other reasons Shylock hates Antonio. And then he says to Bassanio that he was just thinking about his ready money, and he finally concludes that he is not having enough money to give Bassanio at that moment, but he will supply the money. How? By asking 3,000 ducats to a friend. His name is Tubal. And then Antonio says to Shylock that he has got a custom that he never lent or borrow money on advantage, that means with the interest. But here he is going to break that custom. Why? Because his friend want money immediately. So because of that he is going to break his custom. That was the things we discussed in the last class. We will continue with our class now. You may take page number 40. The last class ended with a comment by Shylock. He says to Antonio that you do not take money or give money with interest. There Antonio gives the answer that he never lent or borrow money with interest. Now Shylock wants to justify his acts of collecting interest for the money he lends to others. So you may please take page number 40. Here Shylock justifies his action of collecting interest. Shylock, when Jacob grazed his uncle Laban's sheep, this Jacob from our holy Abraham was, as his wise mother wrote in his behalf, the third possessor, he was the third. Shylock is justifying his act of collecting interest by quoting from their sacred text, the Old Testament. According to Jewish tradition and religion, there are three forefathers, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. The meaning it is given there, the right side, you can just go through Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. Jacob was the third possessor or the forefather. Abraham gave blessing to Isaac and Isaac gave blessing to Jacob. And Isaac was the son of Abraham, Jacob was the son of Isaac. And now we will just go through the story related to the incident mentioned by Shylock here. According to Jewish tradition, Abraham was the founder of the Jewish race. And according to their custom, the blessing or the possession of the property, it usually go with the eldest son. So Abraham gave his blessing and his property to his son Isaac. But Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau. As I told you earlier, the blessing or the property, it goes to the eldest son, and Isaac had two sons, Jacob and Esau. According to the custom, Esau should get the property because he was the eldest son and Jacob was the youngest son. But their mother, she didn't like Esau and she wanted to give all the blessings and the property to Jacob. So she deceived Isaac and get all the properties and the blessings to Jacob. In a way, Jacob deceived his brother Esau and got all the blessings from their father. And because of that, Esau became an enemy to his brother Jacob. And in order to escape from the revenge of Esau, Jacob escaped to his uncle Laban's. That is the name mentioned here, Laban's sheep. And he went to Laban's place and there he used to graze his uncle's sheep. Grazed here means he was a shepherd and he used to take care of the sheep of his uncle Laban. And this same Jacob. And Jacob was from the holy father Abraham, the third possessor. And how he became the possessor? By deceiving his brother Esau. Actually, Abraham gave blessing to Isaac and Isaac was supposed to give the blessing to Esau. But Jacob deceived and got the blessing and the property, and he became the third possessor. And in that mission, his mother Sarah helped Jacob. And that is why it is given as his wise mother wrote in his behalf. Wrote means schemed or planned. Because of his mother, Jacob's mother, Jacob got the property and the blessing. And Antonio then says, and what of him? Did he take interest? Now Antonio is asking to Shylock that why are you quoting Jacob here, and whether he had taken any interest from any other people, and what is the reason of quoting Jacob here. So I hope that you understood the story related to this one. Abraham was the founder of Jewish religion and the tribe, and there was a custom that they used to give the blessing and properties to the eldest son. So Abraham gave his properties and blessings to his son Isaac. So Isaac became the second possessor of all the wealth. The first possessor was Abraham, the second one Isaac. And Isaac had two sons, Esau and Jacob. But the mother of Esau and Jacob, Sarah, she didn't like Esau and she wanted to get all the property and blessings to Jacob. So she deceived Isaac and Esau and gave all the properties and the wealth to Jacob. So that is the story. And in that way, Jacob became the third possessor. The exact word meaning of this part is, when our prophet Jacob descended from our holy Abraham and grazed his uncle's Laban's sheep, his clever mother planned on his behalf so that he became the third successor to the family property. Yes, he was the third. And I said already about the story related to this one. Then Antonio asked, and why are you mentioning the name? Whether he had taken any interest. Then Shylock, no, not take interest. Not as you would say. Directly interest. Mark what Jacob did. Here Shylock says that, no, he did not take any interest as you understand the meaning of word today, which means direct interest. And here Shylock says that he did not take any interest. Jacob did not take any interest as you say today. Today you say about the direct interest. That means about the money give, you collect the particular amount of money in return as a interest. And such a kind of direct interest Jacob did not take. But you have to mark what Jacob did. You have to note what Jacob did to Laban. Laban, you remember, I think, Laban is the uncle of Jacob. And he escaped to Laban in order to escape from the revenge of his brother Joseph. And here, Shylock says that he did not take any interest, as you say, the direct interest, but you just have to notice what Jacob did to Laban in order to gain profit in life. To understand this part better, you have to read the note that is given right side, 81 to 4. A reference is made to the following story in the Bible. Jacob, son of Isaac, went to serve under his uncle Laban. An agreement was made between Jacob and Laban that the former should receive for his services the lambs which were born with the spots or stripes. So as I told, Jacob went to Laban and he used to serve under Laban and he used to take care of the animals, the sheep of Laban. So here, lamb means sheep, and Jacob was to take care of all the lambs or the sheep, and both of them made an agreement. What was the agreement? Jacob should get the lambs which were born with the spots or stripes, the lambs which were born with any marks, that would belong to Jacob. That was the agreement. Jacob was serving under Laban, and as a wage, they both agreed that all the sheep or the lambs, they born with the mark or stripes, they must go with Jacob, and Jacob can take all those born with the stripes and the spots as a wage for serving Laban for long years. And during the breeding season, Jacob placed a wooden rods in such a position that the shadows of the rods could fall on the sheep. By this means, Jacob is said to have influenced the sheep so much that almost all the lambs were born spotted or striped, and thus they became the property of Jacob. So I hope that you remember the agreement between Laban and Jacob. All the lambs with the stripes and spots will be belong to Jacob. So in order to do that one, in order to make all the lambs, stripes and spots, Jacob did one thing. He placed a particular wooden rod. The reason for placing wooden stick was that it was to influence the sheep so that all the newborn, it came with a spot and a stripes. So that belonged to Jacob. And he became very rich. And you just go through that one, that note, you will understand that one. And if you are not getting, you can just ask me. And the same story is referred here. And when Laban and himself were compromised, that means agreement we had seen. What was the agreement? Agreement was that all the yearlings which were streaked and pied should fall as Jacob's hair. That all the yearlings means the newborn sheep or lambs, which were streaked and pied, that means were the fleeces of two colors, which were having two colors, and all should fall as Jacob's hair. That means counted as Jacob's wage. So that story we had seen. So there was an agreement between Laban and Jacob, and according to that agreement, the newborn lambs which were with the fleece of two colors will be counted as Jacob's wage. And this was a way to thrive. And he was blessed. And thrift is blessing if men steal it not. So here Shylock says that this was a way to thrive. That means this is a way to succeed in life. And he was blessed and he was blessed. And thrift is blessing. All the profit is a blessing from God if men steal it not. If men steal it not means if men are not stealing anything from others. And according to Shylock, that was the way to become rich, and Jacob was blessed in doing so. And he says all profit is a blessing if men do not steal it from others. Stealing is something bad, but the method used by Jacob, it was something very wise, and it is a way to become rich. And in a way Shylock is justifying it was an indirect interest. Earlier you have to notice that he did not take any direct interest, but he mentions about an indirect interest. So there Antonio says, this was a venture, sir, that Jacob saved for, a thing not in his power to bring to pass, but swayed and fashioned by the hand of heaven. Then Antonio says that was an enterprise for which Jacob worked as a servant for many years, and it was not in his power to make it happen. That means the newborn with the stripes or two colors, it is not in the hand of Jacob to happen, but it was controlled and designed by the hand of God. The hand of heaven means the hand of God. Swayed means controlled and fashioned means designed. And here you should understand that a thing not in his power to bring to pass. It means that it was not in his power to make it happen. It was not in Jacob's power to make it happen, but it was ultimately controlled and designed by the hand of God. Things to happen. What is that? The newborn with the two different colors. That is not in the hand of Jacob, but it was controlled and designed by the God. And then Antonio says, was this inserted to make interest good? Why are you referring this one? And was this mentioned in order to justify the charging of interest and your act of collecting interest from others? Are you using or are you quoting this one in order to justify your act of collecting interest from others? Or is your gold and silver ewes and rams? The meaning is that whether you consider your gold and silver as ewes and rams. That means the newborn sheep which multiply, whether it is just like the ewes and rams, the sheep, whether your gold and silver is just like the sheep which multiply. Then Shylock says, I cannot tell, I make it breed as fast, but not me senior. He says that I cannot tell you that I make my money increase as fast as ewes and rams. But listen to me, sir. So Shylock says that he cannot say how he increases his money. Is it just like the ewes and rams increased, the newborn sheep increased? That he doesn't know. but not me, Signor. That means, listen to me, the Lord, or Sir. Then Antonio turned towards Bassanio and says, mark you this, Bassanio. Listen to this, Bassanio. The devil can cite scripture for his purpose. The devil, here it is a reference to Shylock, and he says that the devil can quote scripture for his purpose. In order to justify his purpose, even the devil can quote from the scripture or the religious text. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek. Holy witness means holy arguments from scripture. Antonio says that an evil man putting forth holy arguments is like a villain with a smiling face. So here Shylock, he is putting forward holy arguments, Bible, in order to justify his purpose and his intention. And according to Antonio, it is just like an evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek. The person who produced the holy witness or the holy arguments just like a villain with a smiling cheek. The reason is that appearance is something good, but inside something different. A goodly apple rotten at the heart, or what a goodly outside falsehood hath. The meaning is that like an attractive apple which is rotten from inside, or what an attractive external appearance falsehood has. So here in a way he says that the evildoer, he always quote the religious scripture or the religious text in order to justify his purpose, and it is just like an evil soul who produces the holy arguments. It is just like a villain with a smiling face and like an apple which is rotten at the heart. The appearance is very good, but rotten at the heart. Rotten means it is decayed or not good inside. Outside it is good, but inside it is very bad. He makes two comparisons. An evil soul producing holy arguments. It is just like a, first one, it is just like a villain with a smiling face. And the second one, it is that a goodly apple rotten at the heart. Goodly apple means the appearance is very good, but rotten at the heart. But it is not good inside. Rotten at the heart. That means it is decayed. An evil soul producing holy witness is just like a villain with a smiling cheek and a goodly apple rotten at the heart. And then he continues, oh, what a goodly outside falsehood hath. Then he says, make a statement that always the falsehood has got a good appearance, an attractive external appearance. The falsehood always has. Then Shylock continues, 3,000 decades, this good round sum, 3 months for 12. Then let me see the rate. Then Shylock changing the topic and says, 3,000 decades, it is good round sum, 3 months from 12. Then let me see the rate. 3,000 decade, it is a big total. 3 months from 12, that means the date. Yet let me see the rate. Antonio, well, Shylock, shall we? Beholding to you. Beholding to you means indebted. Are you going to lend us money? So I hope that you understood this part, and this may be little hard for you because some references are there from Bible, and there you have to just go through the detailed explanation given there in the right side. Now you may please go thoroughly with this part and study well, and if you have any doubts you can ask me. Thank you. Have a nice day.